Let me introduce you to Carole Floyd, business manager here at the Skin and Allergy Medical Group of Yuba City. Carole, you devote a great portion of your day dealing with insurance forms, insurance companies, and with questions from patients about these subjects all day. It must be 8 or 9 hours a day. Let me begin by considering some basic questions that you may cover. When a claim's made to an insurance company, often the company will write back to the patient or the doctor and state that they're not going to pay because the patient has not made up his or her deductible. What actually is meant by the word deductible?
A deductible is an amount that is determined by an insurance company that will apply to each individual or family member on a 1 year or a calendar year. The deductible can range anywhere from $25 per individual, or it can range as high as $5,000 for an entire family. This must be met before the insurance company will even consider paying any claims submitted by a doctor's office.
Does deductible differ from one company to another?
Yes, very definitely. There are some groups that require no deductible be paid at all. There are other companies that do require the deductible to be paid, and it is up to the individual who processes or chooses the particular insurance company which deductible they wish to make.
Is there sometimes a way that a patient may say, gee, I don't like having a $500 deductible. Maybe it'd be better to have a $100 deductible. Can they change that? Is there something they can do?
Yes, a deductible can be changed if you choose to initiate a higher paid premium for your insurance plan. Your employer also can be approached, and it can be suggested to the employer that perhaps he may like to look around for a company that would offer a lower deductible even for their group rate.
It's my understanding that in a group situation, it's pretty much up to the employer about getting a different deductible. But in an individual insurance, then you can go ahead and pay a higher premium to get a lower deductible, and that way less money comes out of your pocket each year.
That's true. That's very true.
Now, we hear about private insurances, but we also have a lot of patients who have federal insurance, which of course can be Medicare. Not Medi-Cal, but Medicare. What is the Medicare deductible?
The Medicare deductible for an individual doctor's office each year is $75. That is due and payable at the beginning of each year or whenever you go to a doctor's office for a sufficient number of visits to meet the $75 before Medicare will again process any claims for payment.
Will a patient receive any benefits before that $75 is paid?
No, they will not. Unfortunately, this is the amount of money that the government has set down to be paid prior to the processing of any claim.
I see. Does it seem like the deductible of Medicare will change in the future?
I'm sure it will. The government has a tendency to want to balance their budget each year and every year, and unfortunately the older people are the ones that are more or less chosen to help balance that budget by taking away additional benefits and making the premiums higher on their Medicare deductibles.
So it seems likely that as years go on, the deductible will go up so that the government has to pay less, and at the same time the premiums are going up so that they get more money into the Medicare system.
That's very true, yes.
So in the long run, whose responsibility is it then to pay this deductible?
The patient's responsibility is to pay the doctor or the facility where they're receiving the treatment the $75 per calendar year.
Or if it's not Medicare, whatever the deductible happens to be?
Yes, whatever the deductible of the insurance happens to be.
Is a co-payment the same as a deductible?
They are similar. However, a deductible, as we explained previously, is an annual payment, and once that is met, that is all that is paid on a deductible for that year. However, a co-payment is an amount determined by an insurance company that must be paid each time they go to a physician or they go to a facility for treatment. And that can range anywhere from $2 to $13 or $15 per office visit.
An example might be, tell us what happens, let's say, to Yuba College employees.
Okay. The Yuba College employees have a $2 deductible per visit.
Which is actually a co-payment.
It's a co-payment. It's considered a co-payment. The insurance companies, upon receiving a claim for a Yuba College employee, will automatically process the claim and minus their $2, and the remainder amount of the money that is due on the claim is sent to the doctor. Then the doctor will bill the patient for that co-payment if the patient has not already paid it.
Many times offices might ask for that $2 or $3 payment when they come in.
Yes, they do. It helps save a little processing in the billing.
Absolutely. We hear more and more about doctors who offer to accept Medicare assignments. Changing from deductibles now to something else. Medicare assignments. This actually lowers a Medicare patient's fees. What does the actual term Medicare assignment mean?
The word Medicare assignment originated when the Medicare program was established many years ago. Medicare determines a particular fee that will be paid for a basic service rendered by the physician. They have determined this fee from many years of study, and they feel that the particular procedure or treatment that is rendered by the physician is worth X amount of dollars. Therefore, they are assigning each procedure or each treatment or service rendered to the patient a particular fee that they will pay. And they will only pay 80% of this particular fee that is assigned. Therefore, this leaves the patient a percentage to pay, in this respect 20% to pay to the doctor. There are many times when a doctor will not reduce his fee to this 20% payment, and the patient is therefore required to pay the full amount of the doctor's bill to them, less what Medicare has paid, in this respect the 80%.
Can we take some dollar examples? Let's say there was a $100 fee, and the doctor said he was going to have a $100 fee. What would the Medicare, let's say the Medicare assigned fee was $80. So you have the doctor charging a fee of $100, but Medicare saying they're only going to assign $80 to it. So immediately the fee has dropped from $100 to $80. But Medicare doesn't pay that $80, do they?
No, they will pay 80% of the $80, or $64 in this case. The patient then is responsible for the difference between the original doctor's billing of $100 and what Medicare paid, in this instance $64.
But if the doctor has agreed to accept the assigned fee, the difference then is between the $80 and the $64.
That's correct.
So the patient has been saved $20 because the doctor has reduced his fee from the $80 to the assigned Medicare fee of, from the $100 to the assigned Medicare fee of $80, but then that still leaves the patient his 20% of that $80.
That's correct, and it's usually a very small amount, which can easily be handled by the Medicare patient or their supplemental insurance.
I see. Do all doctors accept Medicare assignments?
Unfortunately, no. There are many physicians in the Yuba City, Marysville area that do not accept assignment, and therefore the responsibility of the full payment of the billing falls upon our senior citizen, and sometimes it's very, very difficult for them to meet that particular bill.
Well, that's our program for tonight. I'd like to invite you to write to me at my dermatology and allergy office in Yuba City with your suggestions for areas and people that you'd like to see on this program. As you know, the Medical Explorer is a public service program, and I really do want to hear from you with your comments and suggestions. Please do write to me at the Skin and Allergy Center of Yuba City at 367 Del Norte Avenue, 95991. In my next program, the Medical Explorer will take you behind the scenes of more interesting frontiers of medical care practices right here in Yuba City and Marysville. Till next time, I'm Dr. Robert Peppercorn, your Medical Explorer. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good evening.